Hello everyone! Happy Wednesday! Thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 9:30 p.m. Central, where we relax and craft and work on a project together. Right now we are working on the Jacquelynne Steves I Love Home Block of the Month quilt along. It is free. I have a link in my post if you want to join in. I finished all the needle turn applique for my block last night, and now I'm gonna go in and work on the embroidery. So I decided to do half applique and half embroidery. I thought it would look cute, so we'll see how that goes. I've done very limited stuff in that style, so we're gonna play around with it with this project. So, all right, guys, you can get block 1 in that free in that link that I posted above here, and soon we're gonna be starting block 2. So I'm hoping we can cruise her along with this embroidery and get her done. So, okay, I am going to flip you around. Thanks for joining, everyone. Nice seeing you all pop in. Okie doke, so it is embroidery day. We are going to, I think I'm going to start with all these little detail-y wavy guys and do that. So I am going to stitch, I'm going to do the whole thing one color, and I'm going to stitch with this 3340 DMC embroidery floss. However, I buy my embroidery floss on giant rolls. So I happen to have a giant roll of this. This is actually used up quite a bit already. So instead of opening a nice, pretty new skein, I am going to work from my big old roll that I have open already. So I'm going to cut, I don't know, maybe almost a 3-foot piece off of there. Oh, I did. So I did see that, Josa. So Jacquelynne Steves, who is this is her pattern, her design. She had a cute way of piecing a wonky looking house to do this design. So if you like that look, you can definitely get instructions for her on that. It was very good. Yes, it is a lot of floss. So I'm going to use 3 strands of floss for mine. So I'm doing that thing where I separate one strand from the rest of my floss, and then I pull on that, releasing that strand. And that, I think, is the quickest way to separate the strands. So I have this 3 strand is ready. We will use that a little bit later once we run out of this. And this, I'm going to just take the 3 strands and plop them together. Yeah, I think it's something like 2,100 meters or something like that is how big that roll is. I love those big giant rolls. Aren't they fun? Like, look at the size difference. It's just huge. So this is, I think, this is like 8 yards. This and this is, let's see if it says. It's in meters. This is 2,100 meters versus this, which I think is this is 8 meters. So there you go. Oh, and I'm using, it's 3340 Belinda, if you wanted to use that. Yep, this is DMC. So this is DMC Embroidery Floss. I like using it. It's a nice all-around embroidery floss. They have nice colors. It is color fast, and it's readily available. So I'm a fan, but I also really like playing around with different brands too every once in a while. So, okay, let's get this guy in the hoop. I think it'll work a little bit better in a hoop versus not. So I have my hoop right here. And we talked a little bit last night. Oh, thanks, Gretchen. I'm glad you like the colors. We talked a little bit last night. A question came up about someone's fabric was slipping out of the hoop. You know, and even with it tight, maybe sometimes it slips a little. One thing you can do is wrap the inner hoop with fabric. So this is just like, I don't know, like 1-inch fabric that I had laying around, and you just wrap it around and around, and then once you get to the end, let me see if I can find the end on here. Let's see. Well, when you get to the end, you stitch it down, but man, I can't, oh, there we go. When you get to the end, you just tack it down with a bunch of stitches, and then you have a wrapped hoop. I did this during the penguin and the bunny stitch along, so you might remember if you were part of that, if you joined me for that. We'll probably do this again sometime, wrapping the hoop. But again, it was just a couple strips, and once I get done with a strip, I just add the next strip right on top of it. And this will help kind of grip the fabric. It will also help so that the fabric doesn't have, so it's not going over like this sharp edge. So it should decrease how much our fabric crinkles while we do this. So I'm just opening it all the way open, sticking it in there. I think I'm going to start here. Maybe I should do it so that whole area is filled. I think I'm going to try and do all these scallops first. So I'm going to try and get all that within my hoop. Otherwise, I'm going to have to move it, and I'd rather avoid that if I can. All right. That little fuzzle looked like one of those Fuzzy Bear caterpillars snuck onto my piece. So I'm just stretching it all the way around. I'm not stretching the fabric so much as I'm just making it taut. I don't want to distort the fabric too much. I'm just kind of making sure that there's no looseness to it. And you can feel, if you go around like this, you can feel if there's like waves, and that means there's an area that's loose. So I'm just kind of pulling on it. And then once that's good, I'm tightening it up. So one lady who sewed mini pom-poms onto the leaves. Oh, well, that is cute. Little mini pom-poms. All right, so there we go. I am ready to stitch now. And like I said, I think I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to do all these little bloops first. And why I'm doing that, I will do the bloops, and then I will, like the scalloped edge, I'm calling them bloops. I'm going to do the bloops, and then I'll go back and do this wavy edge on top of it. And the reason I want to go in that order, the scallops and then the wavy edge, is because my wavy edge will cover up all the starting and stopping points of all these scallops, and I think that will look prettier. So I'm kind of going with the most furthest back thing that I want, and then doing the more forefront thing on top. And I'm just kind of picking this area for no reason other than it'll look like I have a bunch done, I think, by getting those all done. So I will go to the end here, come back, do the scallop, and then probably start going around the edges here. So that's my plan. I always kind of like coming up with a plan of attack before I get going. All right, I'm going to tie one end in a knot here. I'm going to start with an away knot. I always like starting with an away knot when I get going with embroidery. So here's my little pinch. We talked about this yesterday, I think. I am pinching the end, and then I'm slowly unpinching, and the moment I can see my thread, I'm putting the eye of the needle over it, and I'm going to continue unpinching. Oop, did I get it? There we go. And it's gone all the way through, so now I'm grabbing the end and just pulling it. That's how I like threading the needle. So, okay, here we are. I am going to, like I said, start with an away knot. So I'm going to start right here. So I want my away knot to be about 4 inches away and out of the area that I'm stitching. So I'm just going to go right here. And I'm going to go from the top all the way to the bottom. And I'll only do this once, and then I'll weave in the ends everywhere else. So the purpose of this is so I don't have a lot of knots on the back, and you'll see what I mean once we come back to this. But for the time being, I want it about 4 inches away from where I'm starting, which is right here, and not overlapping anything that I'm stitching. So, all right, I'm gonna just backstitch these guys. I think to get that nice curve, like it's got a little curve going, I think I'm gonna do that in 3 stitches. So I'll do like 1 stitch and then across and then down. That will kind of give us that curve. Sometimes maybe if on bigger ones, maybe I'll do 4, but I think 3 will do it. If we do just two stitches, oh geez, I'm already going crazy here. Oh man, I just went all the way around the hoop and to the back. Might be one of those nights of embroidery. All right, let's do this again. All right. So then there's my second stitch. I actually do these 3 stitches where I go at an angle and then flat across and then back up if I want to make like eyes that look sleepy, like closed, like something winking or something like that. Because I think those 3 stitches, when you have that flat one in the middle and then before going back up, it gives the effect of a curve. I think it gives the effect of a curve more than just 2 stitches. I could have done this easily 1, 2, but then we have like little points going and I want that curve effect. So we're gonna stick to the 3s. We talked about maybe doing Boolean knots for these, but I thought I'd just keep it simple, keep it to basically backstitch for this piece. And I recently did a little video on how to do the backstitch and how to do a bunch of other stitches too, so you can check that out if you like. It's over on my YouTube at Penguin Fish Movies on YouTube. But if you have any questions about how I'm stitching or the stitch itself or any other stitches, throw them out there. I'm more than happy to answer. But right now I want to cruise along on this. So next week, Tuesday, we're going to be starting the Craft a Happy Life embroidery project. And that will be a nice, quick little embroidery project. And in that, I will go like really in depth on all the stitches and stuff again. So if it seems like I'm going really fast here, don't worry. In that stitch along, I'll focus on it a little bit more. The reason I kind of want to go fast here is because that stitch along is coming up, and I would love to see if we could get this block number 1 completed before then. So I'm going to just try and cruise through this. Yep, I'm not sewing this. I'm just doing the embroidery. What is the video is freezing for you? It seems fine on my end tonight. You know, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. A lot of times I think Facebook just doesn't update, and I think they just didn't update. And sometimes that messes up the video. Like you might need to install Facebook again, and maybe I'll do that again tonight too. I'll reinstall this app just because maybe that'll help a little bit too. Oh, today no problem. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't get it. I don't get it, Gretchen. It's just you never know what's gonna happen. So one thing that I am doing just as a little tip, this entire time I'm having my left hand back here and I'm feeling every single time the needle comes through. I am kind of feeling the thread, and every time I put it back up through the other way, I'm feeling it. So just to see if any knots come. Oh, yep, I'm using three strands. I thought, you know, at first I was thinking, oh, maybe 2 strands, but then I was thinking, I'll stick to 3, which is what I normally do, because I do want it a little heavier, because, you know, I have to counterbalance all of the applique, right? So like the applique stuff is really kind of heavy feeling compared to just thin little embroidery stitches. So I think it's good that it has a little heft to it. At least, I don't know, that's my reasoning. I could do 6 strands to really have a lot of heft, but I think the 3 is gonna look okay. Not too bulky, but not too fine either. Hey, Marine, something. Oh yes, something so relaxing about it. Yes, I love the that sound when you pluck the needle through, and the scraping of the thread. I kind of like that too. Oh, good. I'm glad you think so, Deborah. I think it's gonna look okay. I'm excited about this orange. Is the orange gonna show through my background? I think the orange will show through the background if I make a big leap. So there you can see, like, I'm just, like, if I went from here all the way down to here for some reason, and I had that big jump right there, then you would see, you can see it right there. So I'm going to avoid large jumps like that. I'm not going to have any of them, really. And all these little itty bitty jumps like this, I'm not going to worry about that at all. So yes, you can see this thread from the front, but I'm not going to do anything to make it awkward. Like, I'm not going to have those big jumps. I'm going to start and stop where I need to avoid that. Oh, it's freezing up for you too. Ugh, might just be one of those evenings. Some days it's worse than others, and we haven't ever pinpointed why, and there doesn't seem to be much on the interwebs about that. So this one I'm just going to do, this one's kind of pointy. Maybe it's just how I drew it, but I'm going to just do 2 for this one. Down and up. One little pointy one in there. I think it might be just my drawing, not so much the pattern, but oh well. My tracing, not my drawing. I am almost out of this thread already, which is crazy, but this is a lot of little stitches. So if it's freezing up for you guys, and you know, you probably can't hear me if it is freezing up for you, but this will still be on YouTube, and the YouTube won't be freezing up at all. So you can always check there. The YouTube video is actually a mirror of what I'm seeing. So you guys get to see a little bit what the Facebook behind the scenes text and all that looks like on the YouTube. You know what? I was watching a different Facebook Live today, and that one was freezing more than usual too. So I wonder again if it's just like one of those weird Facebook days. I don't know. Sorry about that, guys. No freezing with the laptop. Those apps are kind of flaky for me. So that might be something to try. Thanks for saying that, Julie, because I don't know if everyone can hear me if it's freezing up. Yeah, we are not going to make it to the end with this one piece of thread. See, no problem there. Yeah, see, isn't it funny? Some things it works just fine, and sometimes it doesn't. It's totally random. I have not found any correlation with anything yet. I think these loops are pretty cute. It'll look nice once we get the scallop into, because that's the scallop that we draw in is going to really kind of define this pretty edge, I think. And I'm pretty excited about this thread color. I think it's going to be just right. I think it's reminiscent of, you know, traditional red work or black work or blue work where you just stitch everything in the one color, but traditionally it's kind of a red or black or blue. And I haven't seen this coral color, or I haven't, you know, done anything like that with this coral color before. So I'm kind of excited. So it's a one little fresh twist to it, I guess. Or more modern twist, I guess. Just this little color. Ooh, embroidery with metallic thread. You've learned that you can't use a long strand. Yeah, that's for sure. Metallic thread, and it depends what kind of metallic thread, but that can be a little touchy. I often have to use a couple strands of it too because it's usually a bit thinner than 6-strand embroidery floss. Again, it depends on the brand. But yeah, it doesn't function the same way for sure as, you know, nice cotton. It's either polyester or actual like metal strand. Sometimes it's wrapped around like a core, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just like metal ribbon almost. So yeah, you just got to go slow and yeah, smaller amounts of thread, and really, really get that backhand going. Like really make sure that you're not getting twists and bends and all that with the thread. So a lot more paying attention to what you're doing, I suppose. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I'm liking the colors. I think this coral orangey pink is gonna be cute with these other colors. And I think it'll look nice overall. Like overall, remember I have that kind of blue color as my main color. And I think I'm hoping that looks okay with this coral, but I think it will. This is actually probably more of a, I don't know, pinky orange, but I like calling it a coral color. Alrighty, we are approaching the end, but we will not get there before we have to switch threads. So you notice I'm kind of moving my hoop around. Like I started right side up and then I ended up upside down here. That I'm just going on how it's easiest for me to hold the hoop with this hand, and easiest for me to hold the hoop and still feel my stitches. So that's why I'm kind of rotating. I'm using 3 strands from the 6-strand embroidery floss. So I'm starting with the 6 strands, Kaylee, and then I'm splitting it into 3. I think, Holly, I'm gonna stick to this orange the whole entire way. I'm thinking that maybe that's kind of what, I don't know, connects the blocks a little bit, maybe? I don't know. I'm mixing up so much with the colors and stuff that I was thinking maybe it needs like one unifying factor to it. And I mean, I guess, you know, it'll be unified by that I'm using the same fabric and everything still, but no, I think I'm going to use this coral color. I think it's my favorite embroidery floss color right now. I've been using it for a lot of stuff lately, and I just like it. I like it. No problem, Kaylee. And actually, I just did a video. It's from the Craft a Happy Life series that we'll be starting, but I did a few videos for it already. And it's here on Facebook, but it's also on the Penguin and Fish page on Facebook here, but it's also on my YouTube page at Penguin and Fish Movies. But I did all the different strands of thread. So I stitched with 1 strand and then 2 and then 3 and all the way through 6, plus a few other things that people like embroidering with, and just to compare the size of the line, the thickness of the line that it makes. And I was actually gonna frame that up and have it near me, because then I could kind of use it as a decision maker tool. Like I could lay it next to whatever design I'm working on and be like, should this be with 6 strands or just 3 or whatever. So I haven't done that yet, but I want to make that as a little thing to just be next to me to make those sort of decisions. But yeah, if you wanted to just get, without doing all that work, if you wanted to just get a kind of a quick glimpse of that, that might help if you're trying to decide on how many strands for a project. Oh, I might make it to the end, but there's no way. I'm not going to make it all the way there. If I just had to do, without these scallops, if I just had to do that wavy edge to the house, to the roof, I might make it there, but I think we're going to run out of thread. But we're kind of cruising on this, which is good. I mean, this is kind of, all these stitches is kind of as much work as probably what this whole roof will be, as far as number of stitches. So I'm hoping that this whole embroidery goes fast, because we still need to piece this guy. I mean, everything's cut, but we still need to sew. And there are quite a bit of pieces. All right, I think I can get one more of these guys in, but then I think we'll stop it. I'm getting close to this edge too, and it's a little bit more difficult to weave in the ends when you're right next to the side of the hoop. So I think I'm going to stop right here. Ow! Do I want to though? Yeah, I am. I don't want to, like, I want to go as much as I can go with this thread. Oh, let's go for it. I'm going to do one more here. It's always like a race, like how much can I, how much thread can I not waste at the end here? All right, this will be the last one though, because I need enough thread to weave in the ends. So I don't tie knots on my embroidery because I feel like it gets caught. Like when I pull my thread through, it gets caught on the knot. So that's why I like doing like no knot embroidery. So what I'm going to do with my end here now is weave it in the backs of a bunch of stitches. And I'm trying to grab as many threads and wiggle it around as much as I can, just so it's really grabbing onto a lot of things here. And I'm going to go 3 times. So this is the second time, and my hoop's a little bit in my way. There we go. And this is the 3rd time. And my hoop's kind of in the way, so I'm weaving in a little funny. But there we go. So that will be more secure than a knot, just because we wove it in those few times. And then you can clip it right at the edge there. So there we go. We have no knots at the end there, so there's nothing to get caught on. It's nice and clean, and so that's the deal. So now, remember the away knot right here that we did. Now we are going to cut that off, so I'm going to just pull up on it a little bit and just cut. So I just clip that knot off. And what that does is now we have this little thread on this side. So I'm going to weave in that end as well. Needlepoint, you end up in the front, pull and clip, but embroidery, I guess there aren't. You end up in the front, pull and clip. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that at all. I have not, which actually now that I'm saying it out loud, it kind of surprises me. I've never done a needlepoint before, like a needlepoint canvas. And that seems, dang, that totally seems like something I should have been doing when I was little. Like that feels like something I would have started early and then kept going with it. But weird, yeah, I've not ever done that before. Dang, that's gonna have to go on my list for sure. So all right, I just wove this in back and forth 3 times again. And now I'm gonna clip that close to the edge there. And that's how we can begin our thread without doing knots. And that again was because we did that little away knot and left that long thread that we could later weave in. So now that we've done that once though, and I have stitches available to weave in the end, I don't have to do that away knot anymore unless I start stitching way far away from stitches I already got. But I'm gonna weave in the ends here and then continue on the scallops. I think I'm gonna finish these 2 scallops and then I'm gonna go the wavy bit on the way back. So I have the other half of my floss here, the other 3 strands, and oh, thanks, Gretchen. I think it'd be fun for sure. Needlepoint. So I don't need to tie a knot this time because I'm going to weave in the ends, and I don't need a knot to do that. So I'm going to just thread this side. Again, I'm doing that pinch and release way of doing it. And so I want to start here. So I'm going to go towards where I want to start, and we're going to weave it in 3 times again. So grabbing as many threads as I can, and we'll just leave that little, we'll leave that little edge, that little end sticking out there. I'm going to go back this other way here. I'm just trying to grab as many threads as I can again. I think that's okay. Oop, got some edge there. And then back for the 3rd time. And we should end up right where we want to start stitching. But before we do that, let's clip this little thread. We don't need that. We don't need to be catching things on there. And we are secure and ready to go with my new thread. So let's stitch. We only have 2 more little scallops. I couldn't quite make it with my other thread, but man, we got close. It's always fun when you have the exact amount of thread you need. That's always pretty satisfying with embroidery. Alrighty. And 1 more little scallop. I think I'm going to really like this applique embroidery combo. Again, I haven't experimented with that much, but yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Oop, dropped my needle. All right, so one thing, since I'm really close to the edge here, I want to make sure that I'm not accidentally grabbing, like stitching into my fabric on my hoop. That would be a huge bummer. I'd have to cut it out. All right, done with the scallops. I'm gonna check I'm not going through the fabric again. Nope, we're good. So next up, I am going to go back and go along this edge. And here's where it comes in, why it's good that I left this to be second. Because now I can go over all of these like joinings, and it'll look like one nice long line that's nice and clean, and all these scallops will be underneath it. It'd be hard to stitch this line first because every time we make a scallop, we'd be so close to our other thread that we'd be like piercing it and it'd be getting in the way. This way, by doing the underneath thing first, the top thread can go over it and give us a nice clean edge. And hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you in a sec. So I'm gonna kind of aim. I always wanna be covering up that space. I'm gonna try to never come up right in a hole that's already there. I'm always gonna go a little next to it. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep trying to overlap those little points, and I think it'll look nice and clean. And luckily these are kind of far enough apart that one stitch kind of goes in the center of them. This one we'll do in a couple stitches, I think. This one's a little bit bigger. And I don't personally worry so much about having my stitches be different sizes. Sometimes I even like doing longer stitches on straightaways and more stitches around curves. I think more stitches around curves, you really get a sense of the curve. It looks like a curve more. And then, I mean, longer stitches on the straightaways just helps get the job done faster for one. But I don't know, I think it looks nice. On average, I try and make all my stitches feel very similar over the whole piece. And over similar things, like these scallops, I try and make them all feel the same length. And these outlines, I'll try and make them feel very similar too. And I talked about that in one of those Craft a Happy Life videos that I did a couple weeks ago. Little how-to embroidery videos. Just how to get nice, even, clean stitches, and we chat about stitch length a little bit there. Thanks, Irene. Yeah, again, I'm just kind of breezing over things tonight, just so I can speed it up, just because, you know, I want to get this, I want to be able to get this sewn, hopefully, before we start the Craft a Happy Life stitch along. But we might not quite make it there. Depends on how we can do on progress on this tonight and tomorrow. But so far, so good. I think we'll do blanket stitches around these hearts. That'll be kind of fun. Surface blanket stitches. The other popular place to use blanket stitches is around the edge of a piece of fabric, like the edge of a blanket. Ooh, this looks so detailed with this scallop thing. I think it's gonna be fun. Overall, like from far away, it'll look like a nice, thick, decorative line, which is kind of neat. We are gonna run out of this thread too. Maybe we will get to the end of this thread, get another piece of thread ready maybe, or maybe we'll start stitching a little bit more, but we are coming up to almost being at the end of the time, probably when I get done with this thread, so this might be it for tonight, is this little bottom edge and scallops, but maybe we can squeeze in a little bit more. Because based on this, I think we will be stitching on Friday still. And maybe even Monday yet, so I don't know. We might not hit the sewing yet until block 2 is released. We'll see. We'll get her done. We'll get it all done eventually. Oh, thanks, Carol. Yep, we are cruising along on the embroidery. So this one I'm coming up in the same place just because this is like where all the points meet, like this point and all the points kind of meet. So I'm gonna make sure I hit that point. But all these other points of the scallops, I'm kind of stitching over, so it looks underneath the other stitch. All right, again, I'm just rotating so my hand, my back hand is in a better position to feel all the stitches in the back. Yeah, I'll go right over this one. It's a little bigger stitch, but it does the job. So we for sure should have enough thread to make it to the end of this, because I think those scallops used up a whole lot more floss than this just little wavy edge is, I would think. I want to tell you to always leave embroidery or needlepoint at a place where you pick it up back ready to pull a stitch. That's so funny. So Gretchen, I have heard the same thing for writing, and I thought that was a really good tip. So some writers stop writing in the middle of a sentence so that they can pick it up right away when they come back to it. Because one of the hardest things, and this is with crafting, I'm sure some of you guys have felt like this before. I think it's just the nature of being a crafter. But sometimes starting is such a drag. Like, you get all excited to work on a project, but then you have to find your scissors, or, you know, you have to do some sort of step that you don't especially like before you get going. And that one tiny thing, you know, it might just be opening a drawer to like grab something or whatever. Or like this, like how you said, Gretchen, it might just be that I have to cut another piece of thread and all that. That might be enough to stop you from starting. You know what I mean? Like, willpower just goes away. You know what I mean? Like, that you just might not be able to deal with it if you have to do any of that extra stuff. So by having it in progress where you just have to pick it up and go, right where you're left off, you don't have to think, you don't have to plan anything new. That's a good idea. So you know what? Maybe we will do that. But yeah, I mean, like, for me, writing is so difficult. I always have to work myself up to get started. So having a sentence in progress or a paragraph in progress is always, and it opened right on your computer ready to go the next day. It's helpful. Luckily, I know I'm going to be here doing this anyway. So I don't have to work up energy to get started. It's part of my day, which is really nice. But yeah, it'll be nice to start really quick right away. All right, haha, I made it to the end, and I have, I'll go up here. I have more thread to start going up this roof. I think I can make it up to the chimney. So like here we're on a straightaway. My stitches might get a hair bigger, but still within the realm of all these other stitches, I think. I'm doing the stab method of embroidery instead of the sewing method where you go in and out in the same stitch. I think it takes a little bit longer, but I like the accuracy of it, and it's just what I'm used to doing. I think I will do 2 more stitches here. I don't want to go exactly on that point where the chimney's meeting because I'd like to stitch over that point just like how we did these scallops. So I think I'm going to end right there. And yeah, I think we got time yet. I was thinking it'd be 10:30 already, but I'm going to start the next one. I will start right here. Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to start right here because then I can weave in the ends. Then we'll go around. We'll pick back up those other little stitches. Actually, you know what? I might have some space for a couple more stitches. Let's get those in here. Oh, I'm using a size 5 embroidery needle, and you know, it does leave a little bit of a hole, but I think with the 3 strands of floss, it works okay. Ooh, I might be stretching how much thread I have left, but that's what I like using is this size 5. It's not too fine, but it's not too hefty. Works well for me. And I think the brand that I'm using is DMC as well. They make They make embroidery needles too. All right, so again, I'm weaving back and forth 3 times to kind of secure it in place, trying to grab as much thread as I can. And then we will just snip it. Okay, we got a start here. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So let's grab my giant roll again and get another, I don't know, 24 inches to maybe a little bit more than that. And let's separate those 3 strands again. Again, I think the fastest way to separate it, even with 3 strands where you could just pull them apart like this, I think the fastest way is still to do them one at a time. So I'm just grabbing, I'm separating just 1 thread from the bunch, there like that, and I am pulling it out. Looks like it's going in a crazy knot, but it isn't. It just releases. So I'm going to do 2 more like that. Separate it and pull. And 1 more. It does not, so don't try this with more than 1 strand. If you try and pull 2 strands out to speed things up, you're going to get crazy knots. So this only really works when you grab 1 strand at a time. And there we go, that's our 3rd strand. So this one, I'll just pull it all and it releases it. So that I will set aside for later. And then we just have to match up these ends. And we will be good to go with our new 3-strand floss. Okay, there we go. Zoop. Okay, so I'm gonna just weave in the end here again. And yeah, I think we're gonna start here, go around, pick up a few of these stitches, and then just keep going. Let's see. I'm debating whether to go to like here and then jump and then do this heart. We may do that and then jump back up. So we would see like a little bit of orange popping out there, but it's only like a stitch's worth of orange, and that might not be the end of the world. And that way I don't have to start and stop another piece of thread. So I don't know, we'll see. Let's just weave in this end to start out here. Let's do a little bit more. Okay, and 1 more time. Again, I like doing this so I don't have knots on the back. Knots just catch on everything, or the thread catches on all the knots, I should say. So I don't like them. And I think this is actually more secure, the back and forth 3 times. And you get a nice, perfect little flat back, and that's always good. Always nice to have a pretty back. All right, let's stitch around the chimney. Chimney. Should have little smoke coming out of the chimney, but ugh, I guess that means it's winter, and this is a summer house for sure. Look at those flowers. There wouldn't be smoke coming out of here. No one will take away your birthday. Okay. Again, I'm just rotating it so it feels better in my left hand. Cruising on the house. Yeah, actually, now that I look at the time, maybe I will just continue with this backstitch. Well, nah, I don't know. Maybe we will start the blanket stitch. I might not finish the blanket stitch though, in like 8 minutes. So we'll see. Gotta first get over there too. yeah, we have all the details for the flowers and stuff still too. So yeah, you know what? I think this might take a little bit longer, even if I am speeding through it. I think we will still probably go all the way through Friday on all this embroidery. But it's embroidery, it shouldn't be rushed. That's when it gets stressful, when you expect to get handwork done quickly. Should just put that thought right out the door, I'm thinking. See, I'm crossing over that thread over the chimney, just the same way that we did with the scallops, so that my roof looks the most in the forefront. I always like when lines cross over other lines, that the crossover lines are the ones that are in front. All right, do I have enough thread for this blanket stitch? That's another question. I think I might. Okay, I'm going to do one more stitch, and I think I'm going to leap and do this blanket stitch. So, all right, what would be the best way to start this? I think I'm going to go like this. Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to start right here. We're going to do kind of like a surface blanket stitch here. I'm going to come up at one of those high points. I'm going to lift my thread above this outer line. Then I'm going to go stitch right on the edge of my heart there. I'm going to even really like tuck it into that heart, into that edge. And then I'm going to come up right away on the other side of that line there. So by coming up there, oh, it feels like I caught something. Oh, it's just the thickness of that heart fabric. So by having this thread that I'm pulling up on in the middle of this loop, ooh, it's getting a little loopy, but it will stop that thread right there. See, so I have this loop, I'm stopping it with the thread. So let's do that again. That's the first blanket stitch. So I'm going to hold my thread up out of the way. Then I'm going to go down right by the heart. So you're kind of making these sideways V's, right? So this is a stitch, this is a stitch. That's what we're doing here. So I'm going to go down by that heart again and then come up right away into this loop. See the loop that I'm making by holding this up? I want to go into that loop and then we will catch it right there. And I'm going to just go around and do that around the whole thing. I don't know, I'm not sure if I should trace this, I don't think I'm gonna. I was considering tracing the outline of the heart as well, but I think it's cute as is. So we're just gonna keep going there. So now here, it kind of comes up at the same place. We'll go right next to it here. It'll look kind of like a point. Yeah, that looks good. And keep going around. So now here's a good place where you can do the sewing method where you can go down and up at the same time like that. But I still find that you still get, I mean, it's faster, it is, but I like the accuracy that I get when I do the stab method, which is going all the way, stabbing it straight down and then going all the way through and then coming back up in a separate action. It's just I've just done it more, so I'm more used to it, I think. But yeah, so this is a surface blanket stitch versus a around the edge blanket stitch. I'm going to adjust this one a little bit so it's going more straight out. Ooh, and we will be calling it close on the thread. I think I'm going to try and go all the way around here before we end tonight, so I might be a few minutes over. Oh, it's looking cute though. It's starting to take shape, I think, a little bit. Oh, I'd be a pro at needlepoint. Funny. Always stick and stab. Right now my thumb kind of can't be all the way over there anymore, so I'm gonna have to just hold it down a little bit, get it in place. There we go. I think I'll leave it without an extra outline around the heart. I think this is perfectly fine. I don't need to mess with another outline. It's kind of like it's glowing a little bit. It's got these orange rays coming out of it. Kind of fun. Oh, Debbie, good. Oh, good. I'm glad that helped. The fabric around the hoop. Okay, I'm glad to hear that for sure. All right, this line for a blanket stitch looks like it should be at this point here, so I'm going to adjust that a little bit. Getting a little mess there, but here we are, back at it. Oop. Got a little extra. There we go. All right. I'm considering making a little point here. So sometimes when you get to a point, like I want to make sure that point stays there. So I'm going to actually put a little tack on the other side of it. Just like how we tack down the end of like a chain stitch or something. There. Now that point will hold no matter what, and I'm going to come right back up on the other side of it. There we go. So it's almost covering up that tack, but that will always, I'll always have a nice point there. Yay, I'm glad we're getting one of these hearts done. And I think I'll have just enough thread for it too. Thanks, Sandra. Or Sandra? It's Sandra. Never mind. That's right. I remember. Unless I'm wrong. Yeah, we'll have just enough thread. I might even get a few more back stitches, which would be good because I think it'll be easier to weave in and out of. Oh man, okay, it's getting a little twisty at the end here. That's okay. We will get it. Okay, running out of thread too. I just have to make sure that I get in that loop. Then we'll be good. All right, and here's the last stitch here. All right, and again, we just tack it down by going right on the other side with the last little stitch. And there we go, that's barely noticeable. And I have a few more stitches left in this thread, I think. So let's go a few more stitches. So you can see that little jump that I did. You know, I had a jump, I leapt from the roof to the heart, but that tiny little jump, you can see it from the front, but it's not like the end of the world. It's not as if I jumped all the way to here and have a huge line underneath. So I think I'm okay with it. But I have enough for like, I don't know, 8 more stitches or something. So let's just do it. Let's try and cruise and get a few more stitches in here. What would be awesome is if I have enough to get to this line, because it'll be easy to go like that when I'm done. I'll probably go to here, do the heart, and then go around. Ooh, and then I can just jump down to there right away too. I always try and map it out so I'm not jumping around all over the place. That always works well for me. And I already have that other half of the thread, the other 3 strands of thread ready to go. So I don't have to cut thread. I'm ready to start right up when we go on tomorrow. It's coming along though. Making me happy. I gotta tell you though, the needle turn feels a little more zen to me than the embroidery, which is funny. You've been watching Using the Spinach Sampler, yay! I think it's time for a shout out. Oh, to John for allowing us to steal. Yeah. Well, we're usually just working. I mean, we just work all the time. So he's working right now. But yes, it is very nice. He's definitely very accommodating because, you know, we don't, you know, the evening schedule definitely goes around this. Like, oh, I can't go out because, you know, I got to be back by 9:30 and stuff. So he's been very, very nice for sure. And other family and stuff too. All right, that's it. I can't make it all the way to the end. I think I probably shouldn't even done that last stitch. I might not have enough to weave it in, but we're gonna do the best I can here. So weave it in 3 times again, if I can, with my itty bitty piece of thread. Oh, we haven't heard him whistling. Oh, funny. He was singing before, and I'm like, I'm gonna go on soon. Are you gonna keep singing? So he stopped. Otherwise it would have been like a huge loud jam party here that I'd be yelling over. All right, there we go. That was 3 times, I think, right? So I will snip that. And here we are. So I'm gonna take this out. I always take it out of the hoop when I'm not working on it, because that'll help decrease the imprint that the hoop makes in the fabric. And look, we have a nice, it's not nearly as dented as it would be because we do have that wrapped hoop. So that worked rather nicely. And I mean, once we press this and iron it out, we won't have any of those in anymore. But look, we got a heart going. Almost done with the roof, heart. So we'll definitely get this part done tomorrow. Maybe we can get all the way down here and get started on the door too. But, you know, that's going to be, let's count days. So that's for sure a day. And then to do all the details in these flowers and these lines, oh, that might be a whole nother day and a half even maybe. So like 1, 2... so we might still be stitching on Monday. I don't know. Hopefully we can get all this done by Friday, and then Monday we can start sewing this up. Ideally, we'd be done even sooner than Friday, but you know, what I'm attempting to do is be able to get done with block 1. I mean, we got all that border to put on yet, but getting done with block 1 before the Craft a Happy Life project, which runs right into block 2. So I'd like to have block 1 done before block 2 is where I'm getting at here. But that's all the embroidery for the evening. But there's up close, you can see the little scalloped edges. And we got the little blanket stitch on the heart. I think it's sweet. I think it kind of pulls in the combo of the applique and embroidery a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I like it. So, all right, I'm going to flip you around and we'll call it an evening. Hello again, guys. So let's take a look. Oh, it's cute from far away. So I think it does. You know, we were talking about the thickness of the line. I think the color and the thickness of the line is going to make it still a prominent piece. Because, you know, with the applique against the embroidery, you have the the possibility of that the applique just completely overweights the embroidery, but I think by having a little thicker thread and that like that bright funny color, I think that kind of gives the embroidery some focus again, so it doesn't just disappear with all that applique. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I'm liking it so far. Fun. All right, guys, I will get this up on YouTube. Oh, 1,000 thank yous to you too, Gretchen, for sure. I couldn't do any of this stuff without you guys, and I've learned just a ton from y'all as well, and I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys coming in every night for sure. So thank you for being here. So I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies. You can do a search for that or search for this project and it should come up. The I Love Home, Jacquelynne Steves project, it should pop up on YouTube. And it will also stay here on Facebook on the Penguin and Fish page. I hope you, if you like it, give some thumbs up, and I do appreciate that. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday already. Sheesh, this week's going by fast. And we will try and speed through some more of this embroidery. We're going for speed. All right. Thanks again, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.